with that being said, I want to introduce Miss Lahia Everett. She's with the City of Chicago, and she will give you some great information to start us off. Lahia.
Thank you, Audrey. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Ligia Ibarres, and I manage the Workforce Solutions Program with the city's Department of Planning and Development, Small Business Development Bureau. And joining me is my colleague, David Diaz, who works closely with me on this program. Thank you all for being here today and for the outstanding work you do as small business owners. Your dedication and drive are what makes Chicago truly exceptional. We deeply appreciate the time, energy, and investment you put not only into your businesses, but also into strengthening the communities around you. We are especially excited to connect with employers and business owners who are committed to growing their teams and investing in talent. We understand that running a business comes with unique challenges, from staying competitive in a fast moving market to attracting and retaining skilled workers. For small businesses, every dollar and every decision matters. That's why programs like this grant are so important. They're designed to help you stretch your training budget further by reimbursing up to 100% of eligible training costs for current employees and new hires, with the maximum grant award of up to $250,000. Whether you're growing your team or helping current staff learn new skills, this program makes workforce development more affordable. We are thrilled to have the Workforce Solutions Program be a resource for businesses. This is an enhanced iteration of a legacy program that some of you may be familiar with. Over the past years, we have made significant programmatic improvements that will allow us to serve more businesses across the city. This is truly an exciting time for us. Joining us today is our Program Administrator, Employment and Employer Services, who will be walking us through this presentation. If you've had the pleasure of working with them before, you know firsthand how valuable they are in supporting Chicago's small business community. They will be instrumental in guiding applicants through the application process and ensuring smooth project management. Additionally, please don't hesitate to reach out to DPD and use our office as a resource. We're here to support your business, and we're ready to listen and offer support in any way we can. Thank you all again for being here today. I will now turn it over to Anissa Jones, Senior Vice President for E&ES.
Thank you so much, Lahia. Good morning, everyone. As Lahia mentioned, my name is Anissa Jones, and I'm a Senior Vice President of Employment and Human Services with Employment and Employer Services. We are very grateful and honored to partner with DPD to offer the Chicago program, to be the Chicago Program Administrator for the Workforce Solutions Program. A little bit about our company. We were founded in 1983, and we've worked really closely with Chicagoland businesses and community residents for over 40 years. Our agency is dedicated to advancing the economic foundations of communities by providing a skilled workforce. And we're also looking forward to working, of course, with nonprofit businesses and businesses to achieve this goal through the Chicago Workforce Solutions Program. As the program administrator, we'll be working really closely to oversee the day-to-day operations of the program. We'll also work really closely with each of you to assist you with the application process, to provide any technical and hands-on assistance that you need, and to support you through the entire life cycle of this grant. We're committed to working with Chicago organizations and businesses across all sectors, and we're really looking forward to strengthening the workforce by supporting this much-needed training and upskilling opportunity. Again, we thank the Department of Planning and Development for this opportunity, and I will now turn the presentation over to Audrey Johnson, who will lead today's informational session.
Good morning again. So happy that so many of you all have made it out with us today. We're excited to get you this information and help build your business. We're going to start off talking about what is Workforce Solution, eligibility and funding. We're going to talk about a grant calculator and give some examples. We're going to discuss the ineligible businesses, business locations, application process, the reimbursement process, visiting and monitoring the closeout steps, frequently asked questions, and additional resources. Then after the presentation is over, we're going to have a Q&A where you can ask all your questions. So please write your questions down as the presentation is going on, and we'll have a time period where you can come off mute and ask your question, or you can put it in the QA at the bottom of your screen. Workforce Solutions. What is it? Workforce Solution Grant covers qualified training. I'm going to emphasize training for your current employees so that you can upscale, and also training on the job, new hire training, which is OJT training, leadership development, technical or technology skills, and so much more, different types of training that you need. Workforce Solutions reimbursement grants are funded through the City of Chicago via two programs right now. One is the Tax Increment Finance Program. The other is it proceeds from the Housing and Economic Development Bond, so we call that bond funding, TIF funding, or bond funding. Grants may fund up to 100% of your eligible expenses for businesses or not-for-profits who are seeking to train their current employees and or any new hires. There are some eligibility requirements. You must be located in, expanding into, or relocating to the city of Chicago. Workforce training for permanent full-time and permanent part-time staff, not temporary staff, not staff that are 3 months, permanent full-time or permanent part-time staff. Commitment to remaining in the TIF area or Chicago area for at least 3 years. You must be financially prepared to support training costs. You, as the business, must be prepared to financially support the training costs. There's over $250,000, which is a grant limit for any 3-year period after this limit is reached. There are industries that are eligible for this program. Of course, this list does not include everybody, but it's a good list to start with. So if you are not-for-profit in food service, tourism, hospitality, healthcare and life sciences, manufacturing and industrial, informational technology, real estate, finance, insurance, retail, energy, education and training, transportation, distribution, and logistics. If you have any questions, please reach out to us with your business if it's not listed here and you just want to make sure that you are eligible for the program. What will Workforce Solutions fund? The Workforce Solutions program can fund trainings, different types of training, but trainings for your current employees, for your new hires who are just starting their first 90 days, but they must be Chicago residents. We could support leadership development training. We can support the instructors' fees, the training fees that instructors will ask for third-party trainers who are going to come in and work with your incumbent and current staff. Training supplies and materials, but they must be associated directly with training costs, like a workbook that is required for the training. That would be something that could be covered. Also, like a piece of equipment that needed to be rented, but just for that purpose of training. And any customized training that specifically fits your needs as a business. To overview and look at our funding, one thing I want to make clear to everybody on the call is that Workforce Solutions is a reimbursement grant. A reimbursement grant, which means that you have to pay for the cost of the training up front, and then you'll be reimbursed once we get the receipts. But you can be reimbursed up to 100% of your total costs, but to a maximum of $250,000, which means no one agency or business can write for more than $250,000 within a 3-year period. So there are projects that are eligible for 100% reimbursement, and those people who are under 1.5 million in annual sales. Also, if you have a maximum of 40 full-time employees, or if you're a non-for-profit, if you meet any of these criteria, you are funded at 100% of your eligible costs. Excellent. But there are times when you have to do a match, and that is when you are either at a 25% match because you're from 1.5 to 5 million in sales, or that you have a maximum of 125 full-time staff, then you would be at a 25% contribution. You're at a 50% contribution when you exceed 5 million in annual sales and you have more than 125 full-time employees. So what does that mean? How does that translate? So a contribution is a match, is based on the business size and it's based on the income that the business has. So contributions may include expenses not already included in the project cost. So um, you paying for salaries while your people are going through training. This is not a dollar amount that you're putting up, but you're showing how you're supporting training costs. And those costs can be utilized to show your match. So, like wages for staff can be used because you're paying for people to be in training. You're paying managers to oversee the training program. You're using materials and supplies that you need for training, but they're not covered in the grant, so you're paying for that cost. That's a way for you to show your match. Wages paid to incumbent employees doing training. All of that is what the businesses can utilize to show their amount, their 25% or their 50% of match for your own training program. Here's a calculation for someone who's 25% match. Lori submits an application for Workforce Solution in an open TIF community area. She is proposing training with the total eligible cost of $100,000 for her incumbent or current workers. Over the past 3 years, Lori's hospitality business has grossed $4 million in annual sales. Here's the breakdown on Lori's eligible costs. Her total eligible project cost is $100,000. That's what she's proposing. She's writing a grant for. Since her business has commercial sales over 1.5 million, but under the 5 million, she would only have to show a 25% business contribution. That means she can be funded through Workforce Solutions for $100,000. But then she's going to send us documentation that shows how she is actually contributing about 25,000 in staff salaries, management, materials and supplies, where she's contributing to the training program as well through a match. Another example is at the 50%, Sam submits an application in an open TIF area. He's proposing training with the total eligible cost of $200,000 for his 20 current employees. Sam's a manufacturing company who employs over 250 employees. So that's that number again, that industry. He's over 125, so he has to be at a 50% match. The breakdown is that he's applying for the grant for 200,000. Now, does he have to match 200,000 in cash? No. But because he is over 125 employees, he's at this 50% match. And so he can be awarded the grant, but he has to show that he's matching in other things by paying people's salary, by paying managers, by paying supplies, rental supplies, whatever it is he's paying for, he can show that in match, and then he would be able to qualify for the grant. So here is no match. We talked about this earlier. People who are at zero match because they're 100% vested. Jessica, she applies for Workforce Solutions. She's eligible in a TIF community area. She's a non-for-profit organization. She serves the homeless at shelters throughout the city of Chicago. She is proposing training with a total eligible cost of $125,000 for incumbent workers, her current workers, and she also is going to do some new hiring for new hire positions. So over the last 3 years, her non-for-profit has grossed $450,000, which is under the 1.5, which is our threshold, 1.5 or lower. And she's also a non-for-profit. So it's two categories here that put her in a no match situation. So the breakdown for Jessica And her eligible cost is that the total eligible cost at 125,000, and then Workforce Solutions can grant her for 125,000. But because she's a non-for-profit, because she's under 1.5 million, she has no match requirement. Ineligible businesses and organizations. So again, this list does not include everyone. If you have questions about your business, please reach out to us. One business I'm going to include on top of this list too that's not listed here is online businesses. So they are ineligible for this program. Chain businesses like Walmart, Walgreens, branch banks, employment agencies, religious worship institutions, currency exchanges, payday loan stores, pawn shops, astrology, palm reading stores, K through 12 schools, gas stations, liquid liquor stores, bars and nightclubs, smoke shops, cigar lounges, adult uses, firearm stores, shooting ranges, massage parlors, hotels and motels, residential storage warehouses, track waging facilities, trailer storage yards, and junkyards. Again, reach out to us and let us know what kind of business you have if you have any questions. Business location is very important. So we currently have 27 TIF districts that are funded currently for the TIF increment funding program. So your address and where you're located is really important. If you can look at the colored different areas that are on the map, those are all of the areas that are currently funded by us. We also have funds for agencies that are outside of these 27 TIF areas, but that funding for this year, however, has been all spent, but it will replenish in 2026. So if you checked your address with us and you fall outside of a funded TIF area, you can apply in 2026 because those funds will be replenished. Businesses outside of these districts are encouraged to contact us for any guidance on next steps. So reach out to us and we'll let you know what is going on with funding. Here's our email, workforcesolutions@eesforjobs.com. You'll get that also later on. So businesses who are located in these TIF funded areas, these are where the funds are currently. There's 27 different areas that are designated for Workforce Solutions. We're hoping to add more in the future, but right now these are the current ones: 119th and Halsted, 119th and I-57, 35th and Halsted. And I'm not going to read the whole list, but I will say this. If you look at this list and you see that you are in Woodlawn or Chicago Central Park, you still need to send us your address. By sending us your address, we can send it through the city's clearinghouse. We can make sure that you are sitting in one of those situations or one of those TIF areas so that we know that you're in a funded area. So even after this presentation, email us, send us your email, your business address. We will check it. Takes about a week for it to come back, and then we can let you know if you sit in one of these 27 TIF districts. Even if you don't sit in these TIF districts and you want to know what TIF you fall in, or if you fall outside of a TIF, still send us your address and we'll keep you informed and we'll let you know how funding plays out. Business location. So if you're not in a TIF district, apply. And E&ES will discuss options or other potential funding opportunities. In a TIF district, but with no funding, currently eligible for work. You're not currently eligible for Workforce Solutions. E&ES will notify you if and when future funding may be available, because we only have 27 funded areas now. But as I said earlier, we're looking for that to be growing with the city. All are welcome to apply, but make sure that you're applying based on what the grant is for. Upscaling and training. This is a training grant to help you upscale, get certifications, certificates, a better knowledge for your employees that currently work for you. And also, when you're hiring new people, it supports those people who are hiring new full-time or part-time permanent employees. This is how Workforce Solutions website page look. So we're going to give you this website page later. We want you to be able to go on. There's a lot of great information as a part of this website page that will walk you through much more questions that we can cover in this hour. But so we want you to visit this, so get information. But this is where you actually can go in and start the application process. As you can see right here at the top under this explanation, in the dark blue boxes, it said policy and procedure. So there's a policy and procedure manual there. And then also, here's where you would start the application. And once you hit start application, it's going to take you out to Submittable, which is the platform that we're utilizing for the grant. And once you're there, you can create a login and you can create a password so that you can go in, look at the questions, copy the questions, answer the questions offline, put your answers back there into the grant. You have some time to actually, get started at looking at it even today. So here is what Submittable looks like. Once you hit that click button and it says start here, it'll take you out to the Workforce Solutions grant. And if you look down at the bottom, it says you have an account. So if you've written a grant before under Submittable, you don't have to change your password and all of that. You can use the same thing to access the Workforce Solutions application right here. The initial application review process to be determined if you're eligible or not usually takes 1 or 2 weeks from the time you actually complete your application. So I encourage everybody to go out there, look at the questions, read the questions, and consider applying for the grant today. Here's some of the application process, the steps that take place. We're going to go through the steps going straight down first. Like step 1, after you've submitted your application, an applicant is notified by our office of your eligibility via Submittable and asked to complete a training needs assessment. Step 2, applicant proceeds from submitting the required documentation. Step 3, once documents are reviewed and approved, E&ES will send applicants their recipient agreement to review and sign. Step 4, applicant submits executed signed recipient agreement to E&ES. Step 5, applicant is notified that the contract has been executed and processed, and business receives their conditional award letter. Once you get your conditional award letter, you can start your training. So going across the top, so there's this process of how long everything kind of takes, and this is to help you all get ready because it doesn't all happen in a week or two. So you first get your eligibility, especially if your application is completed correctly. You can find out about eligibility in 1 to 2 weeks. Then you're going to get emails that give you documentation that's required to be submitted by the city of Chicago. If you get all of your documentation in a timely manner, then that happens all in about 2 weeks. Then once your documents are all reviewed and approved, that happens in 3 to 4 weeks. And then the contract execution and processing takes about another 3 weeks. One of the things that you have to do as a part of that requirement documentation is to do scofflaw and indebtedness checks. So there are 3 statements that need to be done as a part of that, and this is very time sensitive. So this is, you have to do a compliance and child support to make sure you don't have any outstanding child support owed. We verify that there's no debts owed to the city throughout the city, all departments throughout the city. And then you have to go online and complete an economic disclosure statement. And then those 3 documents are sent off and make sure that you don't owe any debt to the city. There are required documents that must be submitted back to us for review. So you're going to do a training needs assessment. That's a document that asks you questions and then you fill out for us. You have to show proof of revenue, financial statements for 3 years, certification of insurance. You're going to have to submit a COI. You're going to have to read our policy and procedure manual that I pointed out earlier. You're going to sign and let us know that you've done that. You're going to complete your economic disclosure statement, your principal profile, and your child support affidavit. You're going to give us a copy of your business license. Even if you're a non-for-profit, you need to supply us with your documentation. If you don't have a business license, you're going to have to reach out to us so we can tell you what else you need to provide. We're going to have a monitoring protocol, a sheet that you're going to fill out and complete and return to us. We're going to need your banking information because all reimbursements are placed directly into your account. So we're going to need that information. And the most important and most time consuming information, if you know you want to write for this grant to start working on now, is to identify a third party trainer that you're going to be working with to come in. We do not approve trainers who work for the company or who are the owners of the company to do the training. You must find a qualified third party trainer to come in and do your training, and you're going to have conversations with them to come up with what's your curriculum, what the schedule is. We're going to need resumes of all those trainers. Then we're going to need references where those trainers have trained other companies, and now we want to find out, how they show up as trainers. So then you're going to get an estimated cost or a quote from them. You're going to do that as a part of your application. In the application, it requires that you submit quotes from trainers that you've worked with or talked to or created a curriculum for your staff. And you're going to have to submit all of that as a part of the application process. And then also, we're going to need job descriptions. If you are hiring new people, we need their job description. There is a reimbursement for eligible costs, so you want to make sure you go through the vouchering process. So, give a quick example. You've got a trainer, they're great. They come in, they offer the training to your staff, you pay for the training. Now you're at the point that you want to get that cost reimbursed back to you. So, you have to do vouchering. So, vouchers and documentation can be submitted for reimbursement of your costs. So after that training is complete, you've paid those trainers, or let's say it was on the job training, you hired 3 new part-time or full-time people and you've paid for their wages for a month, and now you want to get reimbursed and get that money back. So this is the process that you're going to go through, right? The frequency is incumbent worker training that you can up to 3 different vouchers may be submitted during the contract term. The contract term is a year. So every 3 months you could be submitting your vouchers for training, but you can only do 3 vouchers for the whole year. And so we will work with you on putting that together. But if you are on the job training, you hired 5 people, 10 people, and you want to monthly recap that, you can do that. It's only for 3 months, 13 weeks, but every month you can submit. You hired those people on February 1st, and now March 1st, you want to submit to get those funds returned back to the employer. And then at the end, there is retention and outreach. Not outreach. Can you go back one more? Sorry. The last note, retention and closeout. So that would be all a part of that reimbursement. I'm sorry. Now, next slide. Reimbursement for eligible costs. Step 1, documents submitted for reimbursement are your voucher forms. We got to have invoices that were submitted by your third-party trainer. We need receipts that you paid for all of your training, proof of payment, whether that's bank statements, canceled checks, whatever the case may be. Sign-in sheets for every training must be documenting how many people were in training and how many hours they completed during training. And then for OJT only, we can use the pay stubs. So proof of wages and payment in the form of a pay stub. Then step 2, review and approval of submitted documents by E&ES and DPD. Reimbursement can take over 6 to 8 weeks. Reimbursement can take up to 6 to 8 weeks pending voucher and documentations are accurate and complete. Visit and monitoring. You agree upon monitoring and compliance check-ins, submission of required attendance and wage reports, schedule site visits to observe training, Businesses stay in that community for at least 3 years after receiving the grant. Agreed upon annual follow-up discussions for 3 years to discuss the business needs and post-training. How is the business doing, if they're still doing great and growing as a result of the training? Follow-ups can include phone calls and or emails. Next slide. There's closeout steps. Closeout report and final voucher and documentation must be submitted when all training for the whole year, whatever you had planned, is all completed. So now we're going to do a closeout report, and we're going to do your final voucher to get you your funds back. So training and business goals will be noted at the start of the contract. What are your goals? And then we're going to look at those goals at the end of the contract. The closeout report provides a summary of what the trainings accomplished. Did they have impact? What was the return on your investment? Were there any challenges that you were faced with throughout the process? We want to get a good sense of the program and how successful it was. Pending funding grant agreement, applicants can be eligible for a 2% administrative compensation fee upon completion of your closeout reports. So that's an additional 2% on top of what you're granted for. We do have frequently asked questions. You'll get a copy of them at the end of the seminar with copies of the seminar, the video, and the slide deck that was used today. These are additional resources. I definitely, if you can, take a picture of the QR code or take pictures of this slide. These are other additional resources that you can apply for while you're still applying for the Workforce Solutions Grant. There's the Small Business Improvement Fund, SPIF, grant funding for permanent building improvements and repairs. Program participants can receive grants to cover between 30% and 90% of cost of remodeling work, with a maximum grant of $150,000 for commercial properties and $250,000 for industrial properties. The Neighborhood Opportunity Fund leverages funds generated by new development in the Loop to support corridor in Chicago's underserved neighborhoods. NOF provides grants for up to $250,000 for businesses and property owners to pay for the construction or rehabilitation of properties that support new or expanding businesses or culture assets. Community Development Grants, CDG, cover eligible new construction and renovation through proceeds from the 2024 Housing and Economic Development Bond and other funding resources. CDGs are available at 3 funding levels to support local commercial and light manufacturing projects via small, medium, and large grants. Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. This serves as a key resource for Chicago businesses. I encourage everybody to sign up for this program. They offer a lot of different guidance, training, webinars to help businesses grow in Chicago. To learn more about them, you can visit chicago.gov/BACP. It has been my pleasure to host you all today. I really hope that you all take the time out to go to the website page today, apply for the grant, read any information you need. Our team is here to support. My contact information is here. Audrey Johnson. I'm the program director for the Workforce Solutions Grant. Feel free to call me. But what I will encourage everybody to do is to make sure that you email me your business address so that we can get you on the list and get you checked to let you know if you are in a TIF area, in a funded area, so that you can start applying for the grant today. Also, Lahia with the City of Chicago, her information is here. She's the coordinator of economic development. Her email and the Workforce Solutions website page is there as well. The Workforce Solutions website page that we looked at earlier is down here, the https://www.for-eesforjobs.com Workforce Solutions program. So we're now getting ready to open up for your questions. So if you have any questions based on anything that we talked about, I know I asked people not to use the chat, and I saw them still answering some questions in the chat. If you could put your questions in the Q&A area, they will be answered, or you can raise your hand and I will call on you, and then you can come off mute and we will try to answer any questions that you have. So feel free to do that at this time. Raise your hand if you have a question. I see we still have 26 people that are here. Does anybody have a question? Okay. Wait, I saw a hand. Then what happened to it? I saw somebody raise their hand, but then I think they put it down. If you have a question, just come off mute. I don't see any hands raised, but okay. Taisha Hamilton, can you come off mute? Tashia Hamilton.
Tashi. Hi, everybody.
Tashi. Okay. Tashi, ask your question.
I just had a quick question. So the small business that I work for, we have a network of employees. So would this be reimbursable for their training? It wouldn't be direct employees like we have a network. So we have like
What
members.
are they W-2 employees or
Yes,
10?
they're W-2 employees, but they're W-2s. It's a network of businesses. So our small business is to help them with their small businesses by funding trainings for them for their child care centers.
No, then you wouldn't be eligible, but you
Okay.
would be eligible if you were looking at your business and whoever works with you. So you
Okay.
wouldn't be eligible for those individual businesses. They would have to apply themselves individually. So this is
Okay.
very close for them. You can tell them about the grant and encourage them to apply, but they would have to apply each because like the way you're saying that they're smaller businesses, say they only
Hmm.
have 3 employees, but they know they're going to hire one person or two people next year, then that'll be a
Right.
great incentive for them because they'll get their salary backs for those 13 weeks. But
Okay.
you, as whatever your company does, it oversees these other companies, but I'm sure you don't work alone. So it could
Right.
be upscaling training. And remember, it can be specific to industry, but it could also be leadership training. It could be management training. It could be AI training. It can be QuickBooks training. It could be things that your financial people in your company need a support with, or your administrative people need Excel training. So you have to look at it top to bottom from your own company and say, where would we benefit from training? And those are the type of
Okay.
trainings and third party trainings you would look for. And then definitely, I would encourage all of the businesses that work under you to individually write for the grant for themselves as well. And in that way,
Mhm.
that one might need a new hire, one might need, training. You don't have to do both. You can do both, or you can do each one of those lanes that work best for benefiting the business.
Okay. Thank you. So with that, I think you answered my second question, which I was going to say, like, we have a trainer on staff, and if that trainer is training those people, we can get reimbursed for what we pay her because she's directly on our staff, correct?
No, it's just the opposite. Actually, the
Okay.
city does not reimburse you for having people who are on your staff because the way they see it is those people that you have already access to, you can have them train your staff. The city
Okay.
would not pay for that. But
So it
if
has to be
you're,
a third person.
it has to
I
be
mean,
a
third
third
party.
party
Okay.
training. But I
Okay.
will give you a heads up. We do, hopefully within next month, sometime we'll be launching a training application. So anybody who is a trainer in a specific field, they can go there, they can apply. And then when we run into situations like this where businesses are looking for trainers, we will
Hmm.
have a vetted list of trainers that they can go to pick up as their trainers. Like right now, you may be like, oh, well, I use this person normally, but now I got to go out and look for somebody. Eventually, we're going to have a list of vetted trainers that businesses can use as they write for the grant. But at this time, You have to find your own trainers, think outside the box, find people who are locally who can come in and work with you as well. And then
Okay.
as far as your trainer, if that person wasn't a W-2 trainer, if it was a separate consulting company or somebody else that was third party, you could bring them in, but not people who are currently on your staff and not for owners.
Okay. Okay. So we know some third party. I'm just trying to uh so that was very clear. Thank you for that. So we
Yeah.
can yeah, so we can do some
Feel
third
free
party
to
train. Yeah.
feel free to
Well,
call me offline. We can do a video chat and I'll try to answer all your other questions.
okay, I will. I'll
Sure.
send you an email. Thank
No
you.
problem. Looking forward to it. Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Dondre Smith, you can come off mute. Dondre,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Come on,
Okay, thank you.
Verizon. What's your question?
Yeah, so thank you for this session. So just wanted clarity. So as co-founders, um, if we need to be upskilled and we're not W-2 employees yet, but we become W-2 employees in January, will we be considered just existing workers or will we also be considered new hires?
So that's a tricky question. When you say co-founders, do that mean that you all are the leadership that's running the agency or business?
Yes, two of us, correct.
Right. So business owners can get trained, right? They're still workers of the staff. Yeah, and so whether you are W-2 or not, that's for your staff, for the people who work under you. But you are our owners, and we do have small businesses where the owners are the ones who benefit from the training because they need that training to upscale themselves to move to the next level. But if you're going to be all W-2 trained staff in January, then it just makes sense for you to apply for the grant then.
Okay, so will we be considered just like the incumbent workers or
So if you
yeah,
already work for, yeah, you would be incumbent workers because if you already work for the company now, you can't be a new hire. Are
right.
you are changing? So you're saying like our the way we pay
Like we
state.
work for the company, but we're not, yeah, we don't pay ourselves as W-2 employees yet, but we
Mhm.
will be starting in the new year.
Right. And for our purposes, whether you're W-2 or not, it benefits that you are W-2 because those are the ones that the city wants to train, right? Your
Mm,
actual staff. But for your purposes, um, you're still the owners of the company who started the company, so you could get the training, but you're not new hires at
right.
all. You know what I'm saying? You're still either way it go, what you would be incumbent trainers of the company because you started the company and it's your company and you're a part of it. So when
Gotcha.
we talk about new hires, we're talking about city residents that are never been a part of your company. It could have been that they were a 1099 employee.
Hmm.
That means they were independent contract, which means they weren't your staff and they're going to W-2. That would be a new hire or anybody you new hired that was not a part of the company.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much.
If you're not clear, just tap me offline and I'll try to make it clear for you.
Okay, no, that was good. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. No problem. Okay, next we have Leon. Where'd you go, Leon? Yeah, Delgado.
Yeah, Leonel Delgado. Thank you.
Oh, Leonardo. How you say your first name?
Leonel.
Leonel. Okay.
Yeah,
How
or
can I
it,
help you?
yeah. So like, I don't own a business, so I just kind of been listening into everything and I was told to send an email to Maria.
Yeah,
Is there
you're a
any?
student looking for training.
Yeah. So like, I know I was told to send an email to Maria. Is there anything I should have included in the email or anything like that?
So just let her know you are, you met Audrey Johnson, who's with E&ES, and she told me to get in contact with you because I want to go through the WIO program, and she will direct you and give you the links and let you know where you have to go to sign up to get at that training.
Okay. Alrighty then. Thank you so much. I really
No,
appreciate
no
it.
problem. So hopefully you're gonna be a business owner in the future, and that information will help you some kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. There's some things in mind, but yeah, totally. No, of course, there's always something to learn and everything. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
You have a better one. Thank you.
Any more questions? I don't see any more hands. You can put your questions in the chat. If you're shy and you don't want to talk to me directly, I guess you could put it in the Q&A. But if you want to talk and get your questions answered in person, raise your hand so I can see you and we can get your questions answered. Or are you saying I did such a good job presenting that nobody has any questions? Maybe we'll give people a few more times. I do see people putting things in the Q&A. I'm gonna read that out loud, Destiny. You didn't want to talk to me in person, but I'm gonna read your question out loud because I think it might answer questions for a few other non-for-profits. She says, what are the workarounds for not owning a business license for a non-for-profit that I preside over? We know that a lot of non-for-profits, they don't necessarily have. Some have business license, some don't. So it's not really a workaround. You would still provide us your information where you've been established as a non-for-profit, but with that also you would be providing us with a good standing. So I know you're probably used to that as a non-for-profit, providing a letter of good standing with the state of Illinois, and then we'll probably help you with anything else that you would need to meet the city's requirement. So just reach out to us. If you plan on applying, I would still encourage you to go ahead and apply for the grant. Yeah, I figured that. No problem. Anybody else? You can drop your question in the Q&A. You can raise your hand. Okay, I want to give you all time to make sure that you all get all your questions answered. So again, my name is Audrey Johnson. I'm the program director with Workforce Solutions. It's been a pleasure to host you all today. My information is still up. Our phone number, our email. I would say email me your business address. After this presentation, and once the video actually is done, we will be sending you all an email if you registered. So when you registered for and you got the link and everything, that's the email address that I have. And so we will email everybody who registered for this webinar, and you'll get a copy of the slides. You will get our frequently asked questions. You'll get the deck and the video. And then I'll also include the website page so that you can go there and get even more information. Every month, the webinar is, especially if you want to share it with somebody, every month the webinar is put on our website page so that people can view it. So if you want to look at it again and, rehab some of that information, feel free. Dontre Smith, you have another question? You can come off mute.
Yes, thank you. So we spoke before, maybe like a week or two ago, but I just thought of another question. So,
You spoke to me?
yeah, I'm meeting with you on Zoom, but or Teams. But yes, so we have the youth program where we train them how to sew on an industrial sewing machine.
I
Um,
remember that. Hmm.
yes. So you mentioned like workbooks, for example. But like would Okay, so in essentials, like materials, like we would need fabric for them to be like for the new hire to be able to practice. So like fabric will count as materials, but does equipment count?
No.
Or no, that wouldn't count
Not,
as
not
materials.
not in our definition of materials. So we
Okay,
don't
got you,
we
got you.
don't we don't we basically we focus more on the training or the trainer. So we pay for the
Okay,
trainer to come in and offer the classes and stuff. But
got you.
if the trainer said, well, I'm teaching sewing and here's the workbook that they have to use with that, that's
Right.
that's the type of additional supplies and materials that they're talking about. Oh, they need to print some handouts. They need to provide something like that. But actual materials and machines and things like that, we don't provide for.
Okay, good to know. And then the place, the one of the trainers, they're based in Detroit, and so we did end up talking to them, and um, they can come to us, but we were thinking about going to them since they have, like, with their training, they have some machines that we don't have. So if
Mhm.
we went to them to get to get their training and to get certified and license their program here in Chicago, but we went to them to train, will you all cover that, or you'll only cover it if they come to us
We
to
would
our
cover, we could, well, one, I would ask you, is there not someone locally in Chicago who could do what they do?
unfortunately not. And they have
Okay.
like
And
the
that and
Department of
that's
Labor,
fine.
yeah,
That's
curriculum.
fine. You
Yeah.
could provide that to us as an explanation because now the city is on here, but that's one of the questions they're gonna ask me. Is there somebody local who can provide it? And you said no. So you can provide an answer of why that happens. That would have to go through a process where the city would have to approve that. We would never approve for a whole team to go out of state or to go
No,
somewhere
it'll be
else.
just one. Yeah.
Okay, but even if that person was coming here, you would have to show explanation on why you're using somebody that's from out of town. And then, like you said, they have the machines and stuff like that. One thing that I would probably say is if it's the machines is the issue, you could have them come to us and you could, for the training session, rent the equipment that you needed. Now that we
Okay.
could cover. If you needed a certain sewing machine that you could rent for a certain amount of time for that training while they're here, and then that could be worked out. So there's a few little workarounds there. We probably need to talk about that offline one on one. And then not Anissa, Lahia, if you're still on, do you want to address that about that's why we wouldn't cover out of town type stuff and
Yeah, I think you did a great job, Audrey. Thank you so much. I think just from what I heard, I did hear team training. So that's just wanted to reiterate that people do have to be permanent employees. Usually, teens are more of a internship or summer jobs, and unfortunately, we're not able to actually cover anyone that's under 18
Oh,
with
yes.
this.
No.
Okay, so just wanted to make sure to confirm that. But Audrey really covered it. Unfortunately, just based on the way that the program works, we are able to cover someone coming, a trainer from out of state, if there's nobody in local that offers us same training, but we would not be able to cover your team going out of state.
Okay, but not one person going out of state to get that training. Because essentially with
No.
them, okay, got you. Okay, got you. Okay, thank you.
yep. Yep, the better way is to see if the trainer is willing to work with you and come here to do the training. That way all of you all could benefit from it. And then we could look at renting the equipment that you might need.
Let me just clarify that. We would not be able to cover transportation. So we could cover the cost of the actual training itself for that one
Okay,
person, but we
got
would
it.
not be able to cover the airfare or the car or lodging
That's
accommodations
fine.
or anything like that. So
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
this might be a
Yeah.
discussion just kind of more offline, and get a better idea of what your exact project is.
Yeah, no, that clarifies it. Yeah, getting that one person to get there will have to cover the, traveling costs, but the for to get paid for the training, that like pay for the training of that person going, because essentially what that's going to do is we will be the place in Chicago that people can go to now because it's not here in Chicago. But once they get trained and they come back, then we'll be able to do. Um, so okay, yeah, we could talk more
But
offline,
but
but
Lahia, yeah, and
yeah.
I just want to be clear, Lahia. So if they did pay for the travel to send their one person to Detroit, would we still pay the training fee for that person?
We would train the training expense, whatever the training, and again, we have to look at the actual training, the core,
Okay, there's a
etc. We would,
possibility.
yes.
Got it. Okay, so I'll put that in my application basically.
Okay, yep. And then we'll
Yeah.
follow back up with you on it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Anybody
you.
else? Nope, nope. I appreciate you too. Thank you, Dontria. And the great work that you're doing with the young people because sewing is a really serious trade that we Americans we're getting away from it. Okay, I don't see any more hands. all the questions in the chat and QA have been answered. We have about 3 more minutes. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to give a last call. Any more questions? We're going to be getting ready to end now. Thank you guys so much for your questions. I hope you all find a way that you can find some training that will help benefit your program. My next steps for you are to send us an email at the Workforce Solutions email. Send us an email, give us your address so we can check and make sure that you're in one of the funded areas. And then go ahead and start writing the application today. It's not a long application, it's doable. You might need to take some time to find trainers and third-party trainers, network with people who you know have the skill that can be trainers. Just remember, you cannot train within your own organization, but you can definitely be a trainer for another organization and they can be a trainer for you as well, especially if you're all skilled and qualified with those training skills. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your attention today. Thank you for considering this grant. We encourage you to apply and have a great day, everybody. I hope you all are warm out there because Chicago is a little, under the weather right now. But thank you so much for everything.